The first Clay 1000 tourney on the women's side has arrived, and we have a loaded draw here for the 2022 Mutua Madrid Open. I'll go over the potential matchups before predicting who I think will go all the way to raise that interesting trophy here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today. Fresh off her fourth consecutive WTA Tour title, world number 1 Iga Swiatek will open her Madrid campaign against a qualifier before possibly playing Petra Kvitova in round 2. The Polish woman could get Aryna Sabalenka in round 3, Mutua in the quarters, Sakkari in the semis, and Paula Badosa in the finals. First, looking at Swiatek's section, she's guaranteed to play a lefty in the second round, assuming she beats the qualifier in the first round. Both Jill Teichmann and Petra Kvitova are very talented lefty players, especially Kvitova, of course, who is a 3-time champion here in Spain. Kvitova has been struggling to string together match wins this entire season, some of which is due to some tough draws, as she literally had to face Pliskova in the opening round of Stuttgart last week. The Czech woman seems to play her best clay court tennis here in Madrid though, so we might be in for a cracker should she and Iga play in the second round. I do think that Swiatek at the moment is too good and will have a lot of answers for Kvitova should they meet. Same thing for Teichmann too. I think Iga will play Aryna Sabalenka in the round of 16, who does have the potential to beat Iga if she's playing her game. However, the Kazakhstanian is notorious for faltering in the bigger matches, except against Serena apparently. I keep picking Atlanta to go deep in these bigger tournaments, and 9 times out of 10 she does not come through. I literally picked her to win Miami, and we all know how that turned out. I say all this to say I'm picking Iga to move through to the quarters. In the lower part, Brit Emma Raducanu will open against Teresa Martinkova and would next play a talented youngster either way between Marta Kostyuk and Clara Tauson. Both of these women did have solid starts to the year and kind of tailed off a bit, so I'd actually give Emma the edge there. Raducanu actually played Martinkova a few weeks ago during a Billie Jean King Cup tie, which Emma took 7-5, 7-5. It was a highly contested match and was Raducanu's first ever tour victory on clay. I think with even greater match experience on the surface behind her now, she'll go 2 for 2 over Teresa. In this scenario, Emma would be projected to play Mutua, who is a huge question mark at the moment. The world number 9 has held a dismal 5-5 win-loss record on the year and pulled out of her last few scheduled events due to a left shoulder injury. Maybe her trip to the motherlands will reignite that fire within her because she's got to turn the season around. Now, we probably shouldn't expect too much from Mutua here because she has her track record of performing poorly in Madrid. It's likely the pressure of playing in front of her home country, but Garbinier has never made it to the quarterfinals in Madrid. I think her draw looks decent here though. Sloane lurks there though in the second round, and she can definitely do some damage here if, and I mean if, the game is on. Now, as I just emphasized, this is a big if, as Stevens' game has been very up and down this season, but she does generally play well in Madrid, so I would not be surprised if she made a little run here. I will give the edge to Mutua, and I think that she'll beat the injury-prone and coachless Raducanu to make the quarters, where I'll ultimately have Iga sending her packing. Now, even though Naomi Osaka is unseeded here, she's the biggest name in the second section and deserves her own path to the final scenario too. After playing a qualifier, the Japanese woman could then play Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova in round 2, Maria Sakkari in round 3, Danielle Collins in the quarters, Swiatek in the semis, then Badosa in the finals. Sakkari obviously has a very tricky looking draw, having to open up against Madison Keys before possibly Leylah Fernandez. I think Keys has a very good chance here, as Sakkari's been struggling recently and just had to pull out of her Stuttgart opener due to injury. Leylah Fernandez is there too, who also doesn't have a lot of confidence at the moment, coming into Madrid with a 3-match losing streak. Regardless of who comes through there though, I have Naomi moving through to make the quarters. We all know clay isn't Naomi's strong suit, but the girl can still play on the surface and seems to have rediscovered her slam winning game. I think this is a very decent draw for Osaka considering that she isn't seeded, but it's definitely no cakewalk. Pavlyuchenkova is still a reigning Roland Garros finalist, and Sarah Sorribes Tormo is a die-hard clay court specialist. However, Osaka is a better player than both of these women, and I do see her doing well this event. Looking down, Americans Jessica Pegula and Danielle Collins are projected to meet in round 3, but the big name there is none other than Bianca Andreescu, who's continuing her comeback campaign. She's opening up against Alison Riske. I was pleased with what I saw from Bianca in Stuttgart. She got a match win under her belt and pushed the eventual runner-up Sabalenka to 3 sets. I think her draw is a bit more favorable here too, so maybe she can get some good match wins here in Spain. Danielle Collins would be a likely second round opponent for BB, who actually is a pretty good clay court player herself, Collins is. I think that definitely be a match to watch. Jessica Pegula is pretty good on the surface as well. I also want to shout out our other wildcards here. First, 16-year-old Linda Fruhvirtova, who's been making some big strides lately. Then Olympic gold medalist Monica Puig, who's making her comeback from injury. Currently, Pegula is in the best form out of all these players in both halves in this section, which shows you how open this particular section is. I will go ahead and have her advance, even though I think Collins and Andreescu are better players, but they're just too injury prone. I'll also have Jessica reach her second consecutive 1000 semifinal. Aryna Sabalenka will start her title defense against American Amanda Anisimova before likely playing Ludmila Samsonova in round 2, compatriot Vika Azarenka in the third, Pliskova in the quarters, Badosa in the semis, then Swiatek in the finals. The top part of this section is full of qualifiers, so there's nothing much to dissect. Sorana Cirstea is a dangerous floater there, but the woman to beat, in my opinion, is Elena Ostapenko, who's been playing very well this season. Shelby Rogers isn't in her section either, so she's bound for a good run. The bottom part is far more interesting, and I know Sabalenka's team has beef with whoever made this draw, because you have Anisimova, who's been playing solid tennis this season and actually beat Aryna in Charleston a few weeks ago. Then Ludmila Samsonova, who came ever so close to ending Swiatek's win streak last week in Stuttgart. For Aryna, the draw will actually get harder before it gets easier, as Azarenka is a huge question mark at the moment, especially on her least favorite surface, clay. It's weird to say this because she is the 3rd seed, but I'd be surprised if Aryna made it out of this section, and I definitely have to give her her chance if she did. However, I think Samsonova will come through and reach the quarters, where I have Pliskova getting her revenge from last week. Home country favorite Paula Badosa will start against Veronika Kudermetova before potentially Simona Halep in round 2, Coco Gauff in the third, Jabeur in the quarters, Sabalenka in the semis, and Swiatek in the final. This section is a bit more bottom heavy, and Badosa clearly didn't get any favoritism from the draw makers. To have Kudermetova, then Halep in the first 2 rounds alone is insane. Now, unlike Muguruza, Paula actually seems to enjoy playing in her home country, so maybe she can use that home crowd to push her way through. I do have her falling to Halep, however, who will have a lot more eyes on her than normal with Patrick Mouratoglou in her box. I feel like Halep's been low-key very solid this season and can definitely see her going deep in Madrid, where she is a 2-time champion. I think Simo will once again take out Coco Gauff in the 3rd round should they both make it there, as Coco has been struggling a bit as of late and has me worried a bit for her. And by the way, I think Gauff's chances would be higher if Paula happened to beat Halep, as Gauff destroyed Badosa in Doha a few months ago. Up top, we have a lot of crafty players between Ons Jabeur, Alize Cornet, Karolina Muchova, and Belinda Bencic. Bencic is in the best form currently, winning Charleston, although Ons has been doing well recently herself. Karolina Muchova is still on the comeback trail and looks to replicate a great quarters run in Madrid from last year, which saw her take out Osaka and Sakkari. I do have Ons and Belinda meeting once again in the round of 16, where I have Jabeur avenging her Charleston defeat to make the quarters, which I also have her taking to make the semis. For my predictions, I have Swiatek and Pegula in the semifinals, with Iga reaching the final, then Pliskova and Jabeur with Ons advancing to the championship. Then in the final, I have Iga taking it all. Now literally since Indian Wells, I've predicted someone else ending Swiatek's streak and winning the title, and I've been wrong every last time. Each week I say there's no way her body's going to be able to hold up after all this tennis, and she shuts me right up every time. I'm done fighting it. She's clearly heads and shoulders above the field right now and simply does not know how to lose. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there still is a little voice in my head telling me there's no way she'll get to 5 tournaments in a row, 4 consecutive 1,000 titles. But honestly, the odds of that are far greater than picking the field. The main concern I have for Swiatek though still is fatigue, because with 23 match wins in a row, there's bound to be some wear and tear. Iga's probably the most vulnerable in the early stages of a tournament or in the semifinal round, and I think Raducanu or even Kvitova could perhaps do a little something if Iga is not on. However, not a lot of players in the draw have games that trouble Swiatek. Jabeur, Halep, Samsonova, Bencic, and Ostapenko are likely the biggest contenders, but those players are all in the bottom half, which bodes well for Iga, because if she does meet them in the final, based off recent history, she'd have it in the bag. I did pick Ons to make it through because I think her draw is the most favorable, plus she's been trending well in the right direction lately. I think the biggest opportunities arise from the second section, mostly due to Sakkari's inconsistency, Collins' injury proneness, and Osaka and Andreescu lurking as well. I'm very excited to see who will make it out of there. Now, before I close things out, here's a list of all the first round matches you need to keep your eyes peeled out for. That's all for this tournament preview, and let me know what you think about the draw and my predictions in the comment section below. Do you think Swiatek and Jabeur are solid picks? If not, who do you think will be in the finals? Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post the men's preview. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.